Hello, I'm Natasha, and today we're going to talk about one of the biggest challenges many English learners face: how to speak English without pausing too much. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you know what you want to say in your mind, but when it comes to actually speaking, you freeze or keep pausing after every few words? Don't worry, you are not alone. Many learners struggle with speaking fluently because they pause too often to think about grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. But here's the good news. With the right techniques and regular practice, you can train yourself to speak more smoothly and confidently. Let's begin by understanding why we pause while speaking English. One common reason is the lack of confidence. When you're not sure about the correct word or grammar structure, you hesitate. Another reason is the habit of translating from your native language into English before speaking. This translation process takes time, and that's why your speech becomes choppy. You might also pause because you are trying to avoid mistakes, and that constant self-monitoring slows you down. These pauses can make your speech sound unnatural and can interrupt the flow of conversation. To overcome this, we need to train our brain to think in English directly. It's like developing a new habit. The more you think in English, the less you will depend on translation. Start with simple thoughts. For example, instead of thinking, "Mujhe pani pina hai," and then translating it to, "I want to drink water," just go straight to thinking in English. I want to drink water. Do this for every little activity throughout your day. When you wake up, say to yourself, "I'm getting out of bed. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm making breakfast." These small sentences train your mind to stay in English, and over time, this reduces the number of pauses when you speak. Now let's do a practice exercise. Imagine you're getting ready in the morning. Instead of just doing it silently, narrate each step in English. Say, "I am brushing my hair. I am choosing my clothes. I am putting on my shoes. I am looking at the clock." Don't worry about making mistakes. The goal is to keep your speech flowing without long pauses. The more you do this kind of self-talk, the more naturally English will come to you. Another powerful technique is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to native speakers and immediately repeating what they say, almost at the same time. Choose a short video or audio clip of a native speaker. Listen to a sentence and try to say it with the same rhythm, speed, and pronunciation. It might feel hard at first, but it is one of the best ways to improve your fluency and reduce pauses. The key is consistency. Practice shadowing for just 5 to 10 minutes daily, and you'll start noticing improvement within a few weeks. Let's try a short shadowing practice together. I'll say a few sentences. You listen and repeat right after me. Ready? Here we go. I wake up at 7 a.m. Now you say it. I take a shower and get dressed. Repeat. I eat my breakfast quickly because I'm late. Say it again. I leave the house and catch the bus. Keep repeating. Don't worry if you can't match the speed exactly in the beginning. With time and repetition, your brain will adapt, and you'll speak with fewer pauses. Another reason people pause is that they don't know what to say next. This often happens in conversations. A good way to handle this is by learning and practicing conversation fillers. These are short phrases you can use while you're thinking of your next sentence. For example, if someone asks you a question and you need a moment to think, you can say, "Well, let me see," or "That's a good question," or "I haven't thought about that before." These fillers help you maintain the flow of the conversation and buy you a little time to organize your thoughts without going completely silent. Let's practice using fillers in context. Imagine someone asks, What's your favorite hobby? Instead of pausing, say, that's a good question. I think my favorite hobby is painting because it relaxes me. Another question, how was your weekend? You could respond, let me think. It was quite busy, actually. I had a lot of errands to run. Practicing these responses will prepare your mind to speak smoothly, even when you're unsure what to say next. Another great way to stop pausing while speaking is to expand your vocabulary through topics you use in daily life. If you often talk about work, school, food, or travel, focus on learning words and phrases connected to those subjects. This way, when you're in a conversation, the right words will come to your mind more naturally, and you won't stop mid-sentence trying to remember them. For instance, if you go to a cafe often, make sure you know how to say things like, "Can I get a cup of coffee?" Or, "I'd like a table for two." Or, "Do you have non-dairy milk?" Repetition of such common expressions makes them automatic in your speech. Here's a short practice. Imagine you're going to order something at a restaurant. Speak these sentences with me. Hi, I'd like to see the menu, please. Can I have a chicken sandwich and a glass of orange juice? Can you make it without onions? How long will it take? Thank you, that's all for now. Saying these sentences out loud helps train your brain to retrieve and use phrases in real situations. Keep practicing similar conversations in different settings, at the bank, in the supermarket, at school, or while traveling. Many learners also pause because they speak too slowly, hoping that it will help them think better. But sometimes, speaking too slowly can actually make it harder to keep going. Your thoughts might start to wander, or you might overthink what to say next. So try speaking at a natural pace. Don't rush, but don't drag either. Try reading aloud every day for 10 minutes from a simple English book, magazine, or article. This builds fluency and improves your control over your speech rhythm. Let's try another practice together. I will read a small story aloud, and you can repeat after me. Try to match my pace and pronunciation. Here we go. Yesterday, I went to the park with my friend. We walked for an hour and talked about our plans for the weekend. The weather was nice and the sun was shining. After the walk, we bought ice cream and sat on a bench to enjoy it. It was a simple day, but I felt really happy. Now pause and try to say the same story in your own words. Don't worry about using the exact vocabulary. The goal is to speak without long pauses and just keep going. Another thing to keep in mind is sentence patterns. Often, we pause because we're unsure how to structure our sentences. But English has many simple and common sentence patterns you can use as a foundation. For example, the pattern I like plus noun or verbing helps in many conversations. I like reading. I like watching movies. I like cooking new recipes. Another pattern is I'm going to plus verb, like I'm going to meet my friend. I'm going to call my parents. Or I'm going to study tonight. By mastering these types of sentence frames, you can form correct and fluent sentences without hesitation. Now let's practice some patterns together. Repeat after me. I love listening to music when I work. I enjoy walking in the evening. I'm planning to visit my cousin next week. I need to finish my homework before dinner. I'm thinking about learning how to drive. Try making your own sentences with the same patterns. Say them out loud, and focus on keeping a smooth flow of speech. One more thing that causes pausing is fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, or fear of not being understood. But mistakes are a part of learning. Even native speakers make mistakes when they speak. So, don't let fear hold you back. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. The more you speak, the better you'll become. Surround yourself with English Watch English shows, listen to English podcasts, and try to talk to people in English whenever possible. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more comfortable and fluent you'll become. Let's try a confidence-building exercise now. I'll ask a few simple questions, and you answer them in full sentences out loud. Ready? What do you like to eat for breakfast? Think for a second and answer, "For breakfast, I usually eat." Now the next one. What do you do on weekends? Try saying, "On weekends, I usually..." Now one more. What's your favorite movie and why? Say, "My favorite movie is because..." Even if your sentence isn't perfect, the goal is to keep speaking without stopping. Just let the words come out, and don't stop to correct yourself. That's how real fluency develops. Let's now talk about the role of thinking ahead while speaking. Fluent speakers often plan their next few words while speaking the current ones. This might sound difficult, but it's a skill you can train. One way to develop this ability is by practicing with sentence chains. This means you begin with a basic sentence and then keep adding new details to it without pausing. For example, you start with, "I went to the market." Then you add, "I went to the market to buy vegetables." Then, "I went to the market to buy vegetables because we're having guests tonight." Keep extending your sentence until you run out of ideas. This trains your mind to keep forming sentences quickly and reduces the chance of pausing awkwardly. Let's try that now together. Repeat after me and build on the sentence. I am going to the library. Add something. I am going to the library to return a book. Add more. I am going to the library to return a book that I borrowed last week. Now continue. I am going to the library to return a book that I borrowed last week because it's due today. Practicing like this daily with simple topics will improve your ability to think and speak at the same time. Another thing that helps reduce pausing is using connector words. These are words like and, but, so, because, and then. They help your sentences flow better. For example, instead of saying, "I went to the park," "It was sunny, I took photos," you can say, "I went to the park because it was sunny, and I took some photos." Connector words make your sentences smoother and more natural. Try practicing with these connectors often in your everyday speaking. Start with easy sentences and try to link them using connectors. Let's do a small exercise. I will give you 2 short sentences, and you try to combine them using a connector. First one, I was tired. I went to bed early. You can say, I was tired, so I went to bed early. Now another one, I like coffee. I don't like tea. You can say, I like coffee, but I don't like tea. Try to do this with different sentence pairs every day. This will help your speaking become more fluid. Also, let's not forget the power of listening. The more you listen to native English, the better you will understand how sentences are naturally spoken. Pay attention to how people begin and end their sentences, how they link ideas, and how they use tone and rhythm. Try mimicking that in your own speaking. If you listen closely to how people speak in interviews, podcasts, or casual conversations, you'll notice they don't speak in perfect grammar all the time. What they do is keep the flow going. That's what makes speech sound fluent. It's not about being perfect, it's about being natural and clear. To practice this, you can choose a short video clip, maybe just 1 minute, and listen to it several times. Then pause after each sentence and try to say it the same way. Focus on the tone, speed, and rhythm. Then try to say the same sentence again, but with your own words. For example, if the speaker says, I love traveling because it gives me a chance to explore new cultures, you might say, I really enjoy traveling since I get to learn about different cultures. This way, you're not just copying, you're also creating, and that builds your fluency. Now let's do one more speaking practice. I'll give you a short topic, and you'll speak about it without stopping for 30 seconds. Your topic is describe your morning routine. Ready? Begin by saying something like, every morning, I wake up at 7 o'clock. I check my phone for a few minutes. Then I get up and brush my teeth. I take a quick shower, and then I make breakfast. I usually eat eggs and toast while listening to the news. Keep going from there. Don't worry about mistakes. The goal is just to keep talking. You can repeat this with different topics: your weekend plans, your favorite book, your daily job, or even your last holiday. Choose one topic every day and speak on it for 1 or 2 minutes without stopping. Record yourself if you like, and listen back to see where you pause. Then practice again to make it smoother. Every step of this journey matters. Speaking English fluently, without pausing too much, is a skill you build little by little. With enough practice, your brain will start to process English naturally, and you won't need to think so hard before speaking. It becomes part of you, just like riding a bicycle. At first, it feels shaky, but once you get the balance, it becomes automatic. Another way to speak without pausing is by getting comfortable with using your body and voice together. When we speak, it's not just about words, it's about expression. If you try to say something while standing stiff and quiet, it becomes harder to find the right words. But when you use your hands, smile, and move your body a little, the energy flows better, and you feel more connected to your speech. Of course, you might not be doing this when you're practicing alone, but even during solo practice, imagine you are speaking to someone. Pretend you're talking to a friend or a small group. Smile, use gestures, and let your voice rise and fall naturally. These small changes help reduce the tension in your body and make your speech more relaxed and continuous. Let's do a short exercise to help you build this habit. Imagine you are giving directions to a tourist. Speak out loud and try using gestures while doing so. Say, go straight down this road, then turn left at the corner. You'll see a big building, walk past it, and the museum is right next to the park. Use your hands to show the directions, even though nobody's watching. This adds a physical memory to the language and helps you remember better. You're training your body and brain to work together while speaking. Now let's talk about one more challenge: long and complex thoughts. Sometimes we pause because we try to say everything in one sentence. That's not necessary. It's better to break your ideas into shorter, simpler sentences. This makes your message clearer and helps you keep speaking fluently. For example, instead of saying, although I was feeling tired and had a lot of work to do, I decided to go to the gym because I hadn't exercised in a while. You can say, I was tired. I also had a lot of work, but I still went to the gym. I hadn't exercised in a long time. These shorter sentences reduce the pressure and help your brain work faster. Let's practice breaking down thoughts now. I'll say a long sentence, and you break it into shorter parts. First sentence. Since the weather was so bad and the traffic was terrible, I ended up arriving late to the meeting. Now you say it in shorter parts. The weather was bad. The traffic was also terrible. So I arrived late to the meeting. Another one. Even though I studied hard, I didn't do well on the test because I was nervous. Now try. I studied hard, but I didn't do well. I was nervous. This method helps you speak with less stress and fewer pauses. Another smart way to practice fluency is by using role play. This means you imagine yourself in a situation and speak as if it's real. Role plays are great because they prepare you for real conversations. For example, imagine you are at a hotel reception. Say, Good evening. I have a reservation under the name Ali. Can I check in now? What time is breakfast served? Now imagine you're at the airport. Say, "Excuse me, where is gate 12? Is the flight on time? Can I take this bag as hand luggage?" These role play scenarios train your mind to respond quickly in specific situations, and they reduce hesitation when you actually face those situations. Let's do a fun role play right now. You're at a clothing store, and you want to buy a shirt. Say, "Hi, can I try this shirt in medium size? Do you have it in another color? How much does it cost? Can I pay by card?" Practice these lines several times, and try changing the store or item to practice new vocabulary. You can also role-play conversations with a friend, or even by yourself in front of a mirror. The key is to keep speaking, without stopping. Also, keep a speaking journal. Every day, take 2 minutes to talk about what happened in your day. You don't have to write anything. Just speak. Say things like, "Today, I woke up late and missed the bus. I had to walk to school. It was a long walk, but I enjoyed the fresh air. I saw some kids playing in the park, and I remembered my own childhood." When you practice like this daily, you train your mind to organize thoughts in English and speak them without too much pause. Finally, let's remember that fluency doesn't mean speaking fast. It means speaking smoothly, with ease and confidence. You don't need to rush. You just need to keep going. Don't let mistakes stop you. Don't let fear freeze you. Take a deep breath, relax your mind, and just speak. Every word you say is progress. Every sentence you complete is a victory. The pauses will get shorter. Your confidence will get stronger. And soon, speaking English without pausing will become your new normal. Before we wrap up, let's do a complete fluency training session together. Imagine you are going through a regular day, and you have to talk about everything you do. In English, start by saying, "I woke up at 6:30 today." Then say, "I turned off my alarm and stayed in bed for a few minutes." Continue with, "I got up, brushed my teeth, and washed my face." Now say, "I made myself a cup of tea and sat down to check my phone." Keep going. "After a few minutes, I went to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. I made an omelet and toasted some bread. I ate slowly while thinking about my schedule for the day. After breakfast, I got ready, picked up my bag, and left the house." If you can go through a whole routine like this in English without stopping to search for words, you're already making excellent progress. You can do this kind of practice every evening or morning. Pick a part of your day and describe it in as much detail as you can. You can speak to yourself in front of a mirror or record your voice and listen later. Try different topics too, like your future goals, your family, your school or work life, or your favorite hobbies. The point is to speak about real things that matter to you. That makes your speaking more meaningful and easier to connect with emotionally, which naturally reduces pauses. If you ever get stuck while speaking, take a short breath and use a natural expression like, "Well," or "Let me think for a moment," or "What I'm trying to say is." These are not pauses. They are conversational tools that native speakers also use. Using them gives you a moment to organize your thoughts without falling silent. So the next time you feel lost in a sentence, just add one of those phrases and keep going. This simple habit can make you sound more fluent instantly. Now, let's do another imagination practice. Imagine you're on the phone with a friend, and they ask you, "What did you do this weekend?" You say, "Well, I had a great weekend. On Saturday, I cleaned my room, did some laundry, and watched a movie. In the evening, I went out with my family for dinner. On Sunday, I stayed home and relaxed. I read a book." listen to music, and talk to my cousin on the phone. Notice how the story flows? Nothing complicated, just simple ideas told in full sentences, without pausing to search for words. This is how you develop natural fluency. Another great technique is repetition. When you say something once, repeat it in a slightly different way. For example, say, I love reading books. Then say, reading is one of my favorite things to do. Then say, books help me relax and learn new things. This technique allows you to stretch your speaking time while building confidence. It also gives you more practice in expressing the same idea in different ways, which is a very useful skill in conversations. Let's practice this technique now. Say, I enjoy cooking. Then, cooking makes me feel calm and creative. Then, I like trying new recipes and making tasty food for my family. Practice this with other topics. Start with, I like learning English. Then, learning English helps me talk to more people. Then, it gives me more opportunities and builds my confidence. Repeating and expanding helps you build fluency and comfort at the same time. Remember, fluency is not about using difficult words or perfect grammar. It's about using simple, clear language, smoothly. It's about keeping the conversation going without freezing. It's about being comfortable with your English and enjoying the process of expressing yourself. Every single day, even 5 to 10 minutes of focused speaking practice will move you forward. So, before we end this lesson, I want you to promise yourself that you'll practice speaking daily, even if it's just for a few minutes. Talk to yourself in English. Describe what you see. Explain what you're doing, or pretend you're speaking to a friend. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are a sign that you are trying and learning. Don't be afraid to repeat, review, and try again. That's how fluency is built, slowly, step by step. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I hope this lesson has helped you understand how to speak English without pausing. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in your progress. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to English in Minutes for more useful lessons like this. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating high-quality content for English learners like you. I'm Natasha, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep speaking and stay confident.